I invite you to compare the text of a recent inaugural address with these words that were proclaimed in the midst of a period of scarcity, in the midst of the Great Depression, the second inaugural address of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who addressed the nation and said this: "In this nation I see tens of millions of its citizens, a substantial part of its whole population, who are at this very moment denied the greater part of what the very lowest standards of today call the necessities of life. I see millions of families trying to live on income so meager that the pall of family disaster hangs over them day by day. I see millions whose daily lives in city and on farm continue under conditions labeled indecent by so-called polite society half of a century ago. I see millions denied education, recreation, and the opportunity to better their lot and the lot of their children. I see millions lacking the means to buy the products of farm and factory, and by their poverty denying work and productiveness to many other millions. I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished. It is not in despair that I paint you that picture. I paint it for you in hope, because the nation, seeing and understanding the injustice in it, proposes to paint it out. We are determined to make every American citizen the subject of this country's interest and concern, and we will never regard any faithful, law-abiding group within our borders as superfluous. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. That was the nature of public discourse at a moment when self-interest could have been elevated, at a moment when suspicion could have bred greater division and even civil war. Bread and justice, our sisters and brothers in Central and South America remind us, are deeply connected. But it is a lesson that is being silenced in this nation. It is a lesson that is not part of our public discourse. And I fear that we are being squeezed into a mold that says, be fearful, look out for yourselves, and the church, as much as many other places, drinking in that fear. We are schooled to be fearful. There's not going to be enough for you. Take care of yourself. Privatize this. You see, it's so easy for us to say, well, look, the problems are so massive, I can't take care of it all. And that's right. I can't solve it all. And that's right. But the wrong answer is, so I'll take care of more for myself. That's what we're being taught. That's the policies we are passing right now as a nation. It's too massive out there, so make sure you've got enough for yourself. No, the depression was about to say no. Go in another direction. And we will consider no progress made. Unless we can look at the most vulnerable members of our society and see that progress is occurring for them. For only then will we break the cycles of violence that grow out of hunger and fear. You see, the ludicrous thing that we do. Cannot be so there will be joy and grief. The ludicrous things we do that are always too little. These 5 loaves and 2 fishes. This meal at the park. It's always too little. It's not enough. And yet it gets magnified somehow when we do our Lord's bidding. Now watch it when that new world opens up. Because you're going to find you're going to be seduced into doing it again. And doing it again. Because you're going to find out that this is where life is. This is where the kingdom is. This is what our sisters and brothers are telling us. Saying, please don't buy into the publicity. Please don't buy into the press releases we're hearing coming out of your nation right now. Please come back and read the Gospels. They're pleading for our souls. Will their prayers for us be answered?